friends. So in this we are going to study about the economics for the first sem of BALLB students, Mumbai University. Let's start. So before starting this, first we need to understand about economy, right? So before understanding the economics, let's see what is economy. So it's a system in which and by which people get living to satisfy their wants through the process of production, exchange, and distribution. A system in which means to work and earn living. For example, Indian economy consists of all sources of a production in agriculture, industry, and transportation, communication, banking, etc. सो इकोनॉमी बेसिकली गाइस होता क्या है, ये एक सिस्टम है जहाँ लोगों के थ्रू और या लोगों के लिए कोई भी एक्टिविटी हुई हो इनकम से रिलेटेड, जहाँ पैसे से रिलेटेड वांट्स को सेटिस्फाई करने के लिए उस चीज़ को क्या कहते हैं, इकोनॉमी. इट्स अ सिस्टम इन विच एंड बाय विच द पीपल गेट टू लिविंग to satisfy their wants through the process of production, exchange and distribution. किस प्रोसेस के थ्रू? प्रोडक्शन, एक्सचेंज एंड डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन. जहाँ किसी चीज़ का प्रोडक्शन यानी कि कोई चीज़ प्रोड्यूस हुई हो, फिर प्रोड्यूस यानी कि फिर वहाँ एक्सचेंज हुआ हो, जिसकी गुड्स कोई प्रोड्यूस हुआ, ठीक है, फिर उस गुड्स का एक्सचेंज होगा, है ना, बायर एंड सेलर में, फिर वो डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन एक मार्केट तक आएगा. तो जहाँ ये सारे प्रोसेस होते हैं, प्रोडक्शन, एक्सचेंज एंड डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन, वो क्या कहलाते हैं, इकोनॉमी. ठीक है, फिर हम आते हैं इकोनॉमी. अब इकोनॉमी तो हमने समझा, अब इकोनॉमिक्स क्या होता है. जब इस टॉपिक पर हम डीपली स्टडी करते हैं, उस डीपली स्टडी को क्या कहा जाता है, इकोनॉमिक्स. इट्स ऑल अबाउट मेकिंग चॉइसेस एंड प्रेजेंस ऑफ स्कैरसिटी एंड स्टडीज़ ऑफ ह्यूमन बिहेवियर. जहाँ हम स्कैरसिटी के बारे में पढ़ते हैं और ह्यूमन बिहेवियर के बारे में. अब यहाँ क्वेश्चन आपके माइंड में होप सो आया होगा कि व्हाट इज़ स्कैरसिटी, राइट. स्कैरसिटी यानी कि वेयर डिमांड इज़ मोर देन द सप्लाई. सो ये क्वेश्चन गाइज 2 मार्क्स के लिए ज़्यादातर पूछा जाता है यूनिवर्सिटी के थ्रू कि एक्सप्लेन स्कैरसिटी और व्हाट इज़ स्कैरसिटी. So where the demand is more than the supply or limited supply in relation to the demand of the commodity. ठीक है, और स्कैरसिटी देखा जाए तो ये यूनिवर्सल है. मीन्स नो मैटर वेदर द बिजनेस इज स्मॉल और बिग, स्कैरसिटी इज प्रेजेंट एवरीवेयर. सो इट रिफर्स टू मेकिंग ऑप्टिमम यूज ऑफ रिसोर्सेज, है ना. इट्स सो गाइस, जैसे कि हमने स्कैरसिटी के बारे में पढ़ा, अब हम आते हैं इकोनॉमिक प्रॉब्लम पे. अब चीज़ों की स्कैरसिटी यानी कि अगर कमियां, किसी चीज़ की कमी है तो सीधी सी बात है वहाँ प्रॉब्लम जनरेट होगी. तो इकोनॉमी प्रॉब्लम, व्हाट इज़ द प्रॉब्लम? इट्स ऑल्सो सेड एज द प्रॉब्लम ऑफ अ चॉइस. So solving the satisfaction of unlimited wants out of limited resources having alternative uses. So this is the problem of the choices, means economic problem. What is the main reason behind it? किसी ना किसी चीज़ के पीछे तो रीज़न होता है, चाहे वो अच्छा चीज़ हुआ हो, चाहे कोई भी प्रॉब्लम हुई हो, तो इसके पीछे के मेन की रीज़न क्या हो सकते हैं. फर्स्ट तो होता है स्कैरसिटी ऑफ रिसोर्सेस अगेन, then unlimited human wants and alternate uses. सी इस टॉपिक से ही मालूम पड़ता है मीनिंग. स्कैरसिटी ऑफ रिसोर्सेज इज़ व्हाट, वेयर द रिसोर्स आर लिमिटेड इन रिलेशन टू पीपल्स डिमांड एंड प्रोडक्शन, ड्यू टू विच इकोनॉमिक प्रॉब्लम एग्जिस्ट इन ऑल द इकोनॉमिक्स. ठीक है, अब स्कैरसिटी इज़ यूनिवर्सल एज ए सेड, इट अप्लाइज टू ऑल इंडिविजुअल, एजुकेशन and whatever etc. Then second is what, unlimited human wants. And if we talk about the human wants, it's never ending. So human wants are unlimited and recurring, which keeps on increasing with the education, knowledge and economic growth etc. is known. As soon as the wants get satisfied, another wants arises. Then here we comes to the priorities, right? So human wants have different priorities. As the wants are unlimited, priorities also. So every individual wants are more important as and urgent as compared to other, due to which people allocate resources in order to satisfy some of their wants. So if all the human wants were of equal importance, it would have become impossible to make choices. Then let's see what uh, alternate uses. Here it may an alternative uses implies that the resource can be applied and used for alternative purposes, right? So an economy has to make choice between the alternate use of a given resources. For example, a car which can be run by petrol or CNG, anything, right? So due to the scarcity of a petrol resource, they started using CNG. So CNG can be said as the alternate use of it. The relationship between the human want and resources. Here, the human wants are unlimited, and give priority, and it is based on priorities, right? Where the resources are scarce, limited, and have alternative. Yeah, based on alternative. Then next is opportunity cost. What do you mean by opportunity? It is the cost of next best alternative. Example, if person X get an offer of a job 5 lakh at first round, then in second round he or she may get the offer of 5 lakh 50,000, right? So 5 lakh 50,000 is the next best alternative. So the opportunity cost of working in the bank is the cost of a next best alternative is 5 lakh 50,000. That's the reason if the question comes, what do you mean by opportunity cost? Simply can be written as it is the cost of next best alternative foregone. Right? So let's go to next topic. Branches of economic. Now knows about it. The branches of economic. There are two branches, right? Micro and macro. What does micro means? It stands for the individual, right? And what is macro? It is for the aggregate level of studies. So it is micro is derived from the word micros, where it means small, and its main tool is demand and supply, as it talks about the individual. So it's simply demand and supply determine the price of the commodity. Then limited degree of aggregation, as assume macro variable constant. Microeconomics is also known as price theory, for example, individual income, individual output. Whereas if we talk about the macroeconomics, it's an aggregate level of studies and stand for the Greek word macro, which means large. So the tool is aggregate demand and aggregate supply. Then it determines the income and the employment level of the country and the highest degree of the aggregation. It assumes the micro variable constant, and also known as the income and the employment theory. For example, national income and national output. Next differentiation is positive economy and the normative economy. What does it mean? Positive economy means it deals with what is or how the economic problem are actually solved, right? So it aims to deals with the real description and have actual data. It is verified with the actual data. Then it does not give any value judgment. It is based upon the facts, not suggestive. It's based upon facts. For example, price in Indian economy are constantly rising. So it's a fact, right? Then here we comes to next thing is normative economy. It deals with what ought to be or how the economy should be solved, right? So it aims to determine the ideals. It cannot be verified with the actual data. It gives value judgment and based upon the individual opinion. For example, Indians should be take steps to control rising prices. And next is the central problem of the economy. What are the central problem which are basically faced? So central means the major, right? So what are they, what to produce, how to produce, and for whom to produce. So as we saw in the definition of the economy, that it's a process or it's a system which is being done by the process of production, exchange, and distribution. So that's the reason it may also have facing some problem. For the production, it's what to produce, right? So exchange, how to produce, and for whom to produce means, there are some target which are set for the products. So let's see what are they. What to produce, the problem involves the production of goods and services to be produced and quantity to be measured, or a quantity to be produced of each selected commodity. In every economic, resources are limited, hence economy cannot produce all goods. More of one good usually means less of other. Selection of a technique to be used for a production of a goods and services, right? So there are two ways: labor intensive technique and capital intensive. What does labor intensive means? Where more labor are more and there are less capital. For example, India. In India, like, people are not so much financially strong, so here the manpower is more, so more labor and less capital. Then if we talk about the capital intensive, there are more capital and less labor, means people, for example, USA. Then here the question raised next is for whom to produce. Problem involves a selection of a group of people who are ultimately going to consume goods. This problem is concerned with the distribution of income among the factor of production. Goods are produced for those who have paying capacity, means depends upon the level of income. Let's take a quick recap of this. As we saw this, the meaning of economy, that it's a system in which and by which the people get living to satisfy their want through the process of production, exchange, and distribution. And these are some meaning. If you want, you can take screenshot. Then if we study about the economics, it's a study of economy. What it means, it's all about the making choices, presence of scarcity. Where word scarcity comes, it raises to the meaning. Then here it's the meaning, where demand is more than the supply, limited supply in relation to demand, it's universal, refers to making optimum use of resources. Then we saw economic problem, it's a problem of choice. Reason is scarcity of resources, unlimited human wants, alternate uses, where the unlimited human wants have to ways human, where the human wants are limited and recurring human wants have different priorities. Then we comes to alternate, if we comes to alternate uses, then it's a alternative uses that implies the resources can be applied and used for the alternative purposes. We saw the relation to human wants and resources. It's unlimited, priority based on priorities, cars, and alternative. Then we saw opportunity cost. It's the cost of a next best alternative figure, foregone. Then we saw branches of economy, micro and macro, where micro deals with the individual level and macro deals with the aggregate level. If you want the differentiation part, so you can take the screenshot of it. Then we saw positive and normative economy, where it deals with what is or how the economic problems are actually solved. And then it deals with what ought to be or economic problem should be solved. Right, so then we saw central problem, which is what to produce, how to produce, and for whom to produce. So I think it's hopefully understood by you. So if any doubt, please comment below.